Hey guys, it's Lori with LM's Crafty Creations. I am here with a new project for you. This project was created using the contents of the Craftology Box from countrycraftcreations.com, and I know it's been a while since I brought a new project to you guys. Actually, it hasn't been since the last Craftology tutorial that I brought you a project, and I've been a little behind lately. I don't know. I kind of have lost my inspiration a little bit for albums. But I'm really excited about this one. It's super cute. It's really simple, as most of my projects are. Beginners can do it. So if you've never done an album before, I would encourage you to jump in and give it a try. I'm going to walk through this album and then I'm going to do the tutorial immediately after the walkthrough in this video, so stay tuned. So this is the Family Night Collection by Carta, and I do believe that some of these kits are still available on the website for countrycraftcreations.com, so I'm going to put that link down below. Um, in our kit, I will tell you that there's a couple things I used in the front cover that weren't included in the kit. This particular color of seam binding, I ran out of the other blue color that came with the kit, and so I substituted in this navy that I had in my stash. We did get these adorable game-themed buttons in our kit. This trim was not in our kit, and neither was this denim paper that y'all know that I love to use in my projects. This paper is by Die Cuts with a View, and it's the denim paper pad. I use that on my spine. So I did also substitute in one other thing, and I used some artisan red cardstock here on the cover because I just wanted to kind of pop out the little game pieces and stuff here. And so this is just a cut apart. I've layered it on a couple of layers of cardstock. I've added the seam binding and the button and then the trim. And then on the back, it's just plain. This was another paper from the collection. Actually, I think it's the other side of this paper right here. And I just added the trim there as well. This album measures 7.5 by 9 inches. The pages are 6.5 by 8.5. And on the front cover, I have done a side pocket this time. And I just took the cut aparts here and layered them on the pocket and then just filled them in with other paper because I just thought I liked the way that looked. Inside the pocket, I did a, let me get some of my stuff off of it. I just did a simple photo mat. This is a 6.25 by 6.25 photo mat, and then I just put 4 by 6 photos there. So you can either put the white paper or you could just put your photo. Normally, if I were making this for myself, I would probably just put the photo. But because I'm showing these on camera, I want you to see what it's going to look like with it all put together, okay? And then I just decorated it with a strip on the sides. All right, so the pages, like I said, they're very simple. There's 4 pages in this album, and this is the color seam binding that came with my kit, and I love this domino paper. This is just a simple pocket here. It's got a photo mat. You could put photos on either side. People always ask me how many photos will the album hold. It depends on how you decorate it, okay? Really it does. This album right here that I created, if you create it exactly like mine, it's a little over 50 photos. So quite a few. But again, it depends on if you put larger or smaller photos in here. This is a full 4 by 6 photo. I did use a magnet right here, but you know, it's up to you. If you don't, then when you flip this page, this is going to do this. You know, so it just really depends on you. I like the way it is. I like to have it closed. So this opens up, and here I just decorated this with 2 photos. These measure about 4 3/4 by 4 inches. So I have no problem cropping down my photos, and some people don't like to, but I did that here so that you could see. I like the way the design looks when you only see the decorative paper on the outside, and so that's why I did a shorter photo mat here. But this is, since this is a 6.5 wide, you could put a full 4 by 6 photo this way or this way, depending on how you want to do it. Okay, this is just a sticker from the collection. Here I did side pockets on these flaps, and then I just added the little cut aparts there as photo mats. These will hold 3x4 photos. Okay. So we close that up, turn the page. This is a sticker. There looks like they're putting a little puzzle together, a little sticker that says game on. This is a pocket, so you have the photo mat there. You could also put photo mat booklets in here if you want to extend, if you want to increase a number of pictures you can get in this album. And then here, these photo mats are 5¼ by 7¼ so you could put a 5x7 photo on these if you like, but I crop mine down. So again, it just repeats. There is that with the seam binding, again magnetized. This is a sticker from the collection. This one I did a full-size photo and some strips of the paper, and then here are the little cut aparts. This collection was so cute. My daughter and my husband both love to play games. I do not care for playing games, but they really love to. So I had fun doing this collection because of them. Here is another photo mat, and I decorated it differently this time. This one says Champion Family Game Night. And I had to piece together some of my paper because I ran out at the end, and that I did these photo mats at the very end. These are stickers from the collection, and again, cute paper, kind of like a little TV guide sort of thing, and just a photo mat. This trim came with the collection as well, little sticker here, and then I love the TV paper, so cute. So I kind of, when I did my decorating, you can tell that I kind of tried to keep it the same theme on both sides so it would coordinate. And I've done the same thing here. When you open this up, you still have the TV stuff, and the same here. I wish I would have flipped this way to have, I like to see the pattern this way. And I didn't think about it in time. This was a sticker from the collection. These are 2¼ by 3¼ photo mats. And then this one is a random size. I think it's that same size I told you before, whatever that was. 4¾ by 4. And then here are some more photo mats. I used every single paper in the collection to create this, and I had enough. Like I told you, I did piece some of it together. Here's this photo mat. I decorated them all on both sides. And then there's that paper. I love that some of them say pop, some of them say cola. I thought that was really cute. This says family dinner, and it has a little picture of a family dinner. And this is like the food paper. Again, that trim photo mat. So I coordinated these together. And then open it up. You have a full-size photo here, making memories and good times, and then 4 smaller photos there. And then again, I ran out of cut aparts because I used one on the front cover, and so I just put the TV paper on these to give them a little decoration. You wouldn't have to put any paper on those at all if you didn't want to, and then you could put photos on both sides. That would also give you more room for photos. On the last page, I had stuck this domino paper down here, and I actually just made it into a pocket, and I put this and They Lived Happily Ever After. I double matted it because I thought about putting it on the back here somewhere, but I changed my mind, so I just stuck it in this pocket. And here is this. So this is like the game board paper. Super cute. And here's this photo mat. Again, piecing my paper together to stretch it. I did the same thing here. I pieced all these together. These are just the cut aparts from the collection. And here, this says Family Time, a sticker from the collection, and there's the other side. So super cute collection. I really love how it turned out, and I think it's really simple but cute. So let's go through the tutorial on how to make the pages. In the description box below, if you're not familiar with my videos, I always put the measurements for everything there. So you'll find the measurements that you need for the chipboard, the measurements you need for the binding and the hinge mechanism, for the cover pockets. It's all down in the description box below. Okay, so since all the pages are the same, it's going to be a really easy tutorial. We're going to start out with our simple base pages, and you're going to need 2 pieces. The first piece needs to be cut at 6.5 inches by 8.5 inches, and you're going to cut 4 of these. You're going to cut 4 of these, and these are 6.5 inches by 9.5 inches, and these you're going to score at 1/2 inch on each end on the 9.5 inch side, okay? And then we're just going to fold on our score lines. And we're going to glue these down. So, I'm going to take my art glitter glue. And I like to put glue on both sides. I just stick them all down at one time. And I'm just going to stick this down. And it just occurred to me that usually I use craft cardstock to do this on camera because it's hard to see on the black, and I just totally forgot. Plus I've been running low on my craft cardstock. Okay, so this is going to be our base page. This is the part right here that will attach to your hinge system and your binding. Okay? So the next thing we need, I'll get my pieces all together here. This one, let's do the large flap first. Okay, so this is the large flap. Yeah, this goes on top of here. What am I doing? Okay. This one's cut to 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. And let me tell you a trick real quick. So if you cut these 2 pieces out of 2 12 by 12 inch pieces of cardstock, you will have these 5.5 inch by 12 inch strips left. And that's where I got both this piece as well as the back pocket that's going to go back here. So just make sure you measure before you just grab a new sheet and cut, because these it was designed that way on purpose. So anyway, this one's 5.5 by 8.5, and you're going to score on the 5.5 inch side at 1/2 inch, and then just fold on this score line. And let's see, this one I'm going to miter these corners right here. And what I mean by that is that I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to go right before the score line and cut this at an angle. That way, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my glue on the inside of this hinge, and I'm going to stick it on the inside of the pocket with the glue facing up. And glue it that way. Just make sure you don't go over the score line, okay? And then fold that in. Now I rounded these corners right here. You can choose to leave them straight or you can round them. It's personal preference. Then I'm going to go ahead and add this piece, which is the little flap that goes here. We're going to center it in the middle. This is a pocket flap that needs to be cut at 5.5 inches by 6.5 inches. You're going to score on the 5.5 inch side at 1/2 inch, and then at 5/8 of an inch. I gave it a little bit of a gusset, and I'll show you what I mean by gusset. Go ahead and fold on those score lines. Okay, and this is what you get. There's your, see there's a little, you can see it better this way probably, yeah. It's just a little bit of space between there. So now I want you to put your glue, excuse me, on the inside of the flap, but don't go over the first score line, okay? And then you're going to stick this inside the other side of the pocket, as soon as I can figure out how to get it open, and center it in the middle, and stick it down. Excuse me, sorry. Clear my throat all day. Allergies. Okay, so there's your first flap. Or actually, technically it's your second one. Okay. Next we're going to add the pocket to this. Now on my album I did a little notch here. I did that with my envelope punch board, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. I'm going to miter these corners here. Oh, it'd help if I tell you the measurements, huh? This is cut to 5 7/8 by 3 1/2. You're going to score on the 5 7/8 of an inch side at 1/2 inch on each end, and then score on the 3 1/2 inch side at 1/2 inch. Okay, then we're going to fold on all those score lines. So if you want to create that notch in the middle, then you're going to want to measure this and get the measurement that's in the middle, and that's what you're going to put it in your envelope punch board. So let's see, I'm going to do mine, and I believe it's a little over 2 3/8. Is it? What is it? No, it's a little less than 2 3/8. So I'm going to take my, and I'm not fancy with measurements, so I'm just going to take my envelope punch board. I'm going to stick this in here. I'm going to put it between the 1/4 inch and the 3/8 of an inch at 2, between the 2 1/4 and 2 3/8, and I'm going to punch it. And that's technical enough for me. You know what I mean? Let's keep it simple. And then I'm going to glue this. I just like to stick it down here just to make sure that I've measured everything correctly and it's going to fit, because, you know, sometimes I make mistakes. And I'm just going to glue it down to this flap here, just at the very bottom. Just what I would do is make sure you line it up with the right edge, this edge of the flap, so that way you don't go over that little tiny gusset that you created here. Okay, there we go. So now we've got the flap with the pocket, and then we have this flap here, and we're going to put 2 pockets right here. So these 2 pockets need to be cut at 5 1/4 by 3 1/2. You're going to score on the 5 1/4 inch side at 1/2 inch on each end, and then on the 3 1/2 inch side at 1/2 inch. And we're going to miter our corners. I'm going to go ahead and punch these as well. Excuse me. I'm going to fold on my score lines. Oops. Now when I fold on my score lines, these end up being, I believe, 2 1/8. I believe. I mean 4 1/4. And then so they're 4 1/4, so half of that's 2 1/8, and that's where you're going to punch. That's what I was thinking. So I'm going to take my envelope punch board again. I'm going to line it up at the 2 1/8 of an inch mark, and I'm going to punch it. Same thing here. Done. So you take the measurement after you've folded in your flaps, okay? So fold in all of your flaps, fold in all your score lines, and you take the measurement in the middle, the half of it. I hope that makes sense. I'm kind of all over the place today. Now we're going to take the first pocket, got my glue on it, and I'm going to stick it at the top. I'm going to line it up with the top of the flap. The opening is on this side, and I'm going to stay about 1/8 of an inch away from the score line here. So I'll show you that up close in a minute. So you want to make sure there's like a little gap here where I've stayed away from the score line. So just give you a little bit of space so that way your flap folds properly. Otherwise it's not gonna fold right. It's gonna stick up. Okay? That's important. Okay? Then you're gonna stick the other one just right beside it, and it should line up perfectly with your flap. And for once it does. Okay? So that's it for the front of the page. Then you decorate it however you like. If you want, you can put a magnet here to keep this closed. That's what I did. Turn it over on the other side, and this side's super simple as well. We're going to take this piece, it's cut to 5.5 by 9.5. You're going to score on the 5.5 inch side at 1/2 inch, and then on the 9.5 inch side at 1/2 inch on each end. And then miter your corners. And fold on your score lines. Okay, and we're going to glue it down. So we have our side pocket. And then we're going to take this and we're going to create kind of an angled pocket out of it. This is cut to 6 inches by 6 inches square, and then you're going to score on 3 of the 6-inch sides at 1/2 inch, okay? Then you're going to miter your corners like you're creating just a normal pocket. And go ahead and fold on your score lines. And then we're going to measure and cut this at an angle to give your pocket some interest. So I'm going to take my ruler and my pencil. Now I'm going to measure this from the right side. So I'm going to turn it this way because it's easier for me. And I'm going to measure 3 inches. Oh, up or down? I don't remember, so I better look, because I was just going to say, oh, let's just go with it, but no. Okay. From the top. Well, that's what it is. You're going to measure 3 inches from the top here. So how do I want to? Yeah, I'll just do that. I mean, yeah. Ignore me. I can't decide what I want to do. So I'm going to put the 3 inches at the top here, right here, and then I'm going to measure right here and just make my mark. That's all you need. You need a little mark. Can you see my mark? Ooh, barely. It's right here. Okay? And so I'm just going to put my ruler, I'm going to line it up with the corner of the pocket and then the edge of this mark. And I'm going to draw a line. And then I'm going to cut that off. And this is how I make my angled pocket. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to put that right on top of here, and that is it for our pages. Super easy, I told you. Stick it right down. So if you're new to creating these angles like this, let me tell you a trick in matting. When you go to add your pattern paper, what you want to do, and I don't have a piece of paper here to show you, you're going to want to cut your pattern paper to 4 3/4 by 5 1/4. And then you're going to put your pattern paper on here, and obviously it's going to be taller. You're going to have to cut it. So what I do, and this is a terrible example because it's not big enough, okay? But say was the full size that you're going to need. What you're going to do is, see, you're not going to be able to see that. So what did I say? 4 3/4. I need to at least cut it by 4 3/4 to demonstrate. Okay. So you're going to line your piece of paper up and say that it's the full length that it needs to be. What I do is, so the edge of the pocket is right here and right here. And then I line my ruler up and measure 1/8 of an inch down. So I'm going to line my ruler up with the edge of the pocket. I'm going to draw my line right there. Okay. And then I'm going to cut that line. So you measure 1/8 of an inch down from the pocket. And then when I go to mat this, it'll be a perfect angle where it's supposed to be. You can see that the pocket is there, and that's where the angle is, except for it'll be the full length that you need. Okay? I hope that that's clearer than what it sounds like in my head. Okay. What else can I tell you about this project? I did 4 pages. I did, for my binding system, the gussets, which I've had people ask this before. The gussets, when I say gusset, I mean this space in between the pages. I did 3/8 of an inch gussets versus a 1/2 inch gusset because I wanted my spine to be smaller. I didn't want to have a huge album. So I did 3/8 of an inch gussets between every page. Okay, I gave you all the measurements to create the binding. When I create my binding, I create 1 inch hinges, and I glue my page only halfway down that hinge. So the measurements for that are in the description box below. And I already told you I gave you the measurements for the pockets on the front and back cover, as well as the chipboard that you need and all that good stuff. So I think that that's all that I have for you guys. So visit the link. If you don't have the collection and you like it, visit the link below, countrycraftcreations.com. This is the Craftology box for March. And last I heard, there were a few kits left, so you may be able to snag one. Of course, you do not have to have this collection to create this album. Obviously, I just gave you the tutorial so you can create it with any kind of paper collection. Regardless of what you create it with, please show it. I have a Facebook page on Facebook, and it's LM's Crafty Creations, and I would love to see the creations that you make using my tutorials. So you can post it there if you like. If you use paper, like from the Craftology box or from the store of countrycraftcreations.com, you could always post your project on the Scrapbookers of countrycraftcreations.com Facebook page. We've always loved to see those projects and be inspired. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.